What does that mean for you? This is a phone attachment that firemen would use to actually help save people. So it's a quick little handy dandy thing that they could just throw on their phone and they can actually have a legitimate thermal imaging camera. So you guys should be able to see me in there, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy. This is going to work out. Sorry, Rob, but I'm the hottest thing inside the video right now. Yeah, bachelorette parties, that kills, just so you know. With this, we're looking for blue and black. Those are the cold spots. We're looking for them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. Most of the time when they start taking shape, they're in the shape of people. Those are the things that I've normally found on this specific camera. The cool thing is when you get your video back from this guy, I have it set up to where there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. What that's doing is it's showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So that way it kind of helps guide your eye when you get your video back. It's not always the anomaly that I find that's underneath that blue dot, but a lot of times I'm looking at the temperature gauge next to it as well. I normally look for about 15 degree plus temperature drops. Our average temperature tonight is going to be about between 68 to 71, so I'm obviously looking for things in the lower 50s. So that's going to be kind of the thing that we're going to be looking for as we kind of go through this. So with this one, because he so much wants a spirit box, I'm actually going to hand this one off to you. Okay. So you're going to keep, actually I'm going to stop the video and DJs on yours to be able to convey messages back to us. The word red might not be available to that song lyric or DJ, but fire truck, blood, heart, those three things are specifically red. Excuse me, I would take that as a direct answer. What color is the big red barn? Blood. I'm good with that. However, you guys have enough of my gear out here to where there's going to be at least a minimum of 2 things that are going to go off before I even come close to claiming something being paranormal.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, okay? Your neck is hot.
Yeah, it's like white in the camera.
It really is.
How many people are in the camera right now?
Her neck
She's in the middle. There are 2 on the other side. She's
is...
fine. Hers is like white right here.
Wow.
If you can you put no, you can't.
I mean,
you could put that crosshairs on the center. Like you can move it to kind of get a direct temperature.
Okay.
I know I was feeling something.
Hang on. Try.
Which is weird because there is a chill out here tonight.
88,
There's a nice breeze coming through.
Yeah, and I was fine. I just
it
started
went to
feeling
70
really warm.
earlier. Oh, 81, 82. I mean, it's going from 88 to 81, 82.
It's interesting. Well, she should be like 96 to 99 degrees.
She's not. She's like 82 right there.
So are you recording right now? Is that orange square or a circle? Or is
it's
it
a square.
Okay, so hit the square for me.
Hit stop it?
Yep, we're going to stop it.
Okay.
Give it a second. Make another example of looking for 2 different things that are going to be considered paranormal working together. So the word list. Let's say the word art shows up on that word list. That doesn't make any sense to us over here, right? It's talking about football players and ponies. But then, you know, Victoria, here's the number 40 coming out of hers. Together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. That was his jersey number. You see where this is going to be more of an escape room and putting pieces together than it is going to be a normal ghost tour? So I always like to make that example. To cameras. With yours specifically, we're going to be in spaces, both cameras by the way, so Carolina as well. We'll be in spaces where there'll be people going by and parked cars. People don't like their cars to be filmed, and they definitely don't like to be filmed themselves, so we're just going to be respectful. But I do want you to try to keep one of us in view, because we're going to be the warmest thing out here, kind of like we've already pointed out. It's going to be much easier to find a cold spot when there's a warmer temperature between 96 and 99 degrees, somebody's skin degree temperature. So always try to keep somebody in view. Okay. The other thing is to try to keep the sky out of view. The reason why for that is because the blue dot that's bouncing around is going to default to the sky because there's no surface, and it'll always kind of give us that weird anomaly of like 32 degrees up there, even though there's no 32 degree temperature out here, unless of course an actual spirit is down here with us. So again, if you can, it's going to be impossible in some spaces. So just kind of use your best judgment. With yours, Carolina, nice slow motions, the easier the better. So with the cameras, it's not always the most glorious job when we're out here because you're not listening to anything. So that way, Victoria can actually share the other earbud with you, and you can help her out in that regard. So that way, the 2 of you can listen as you're giving us a nice still camera, kind of going through it when you want to. So again, it's just one of those pieces. Like if she's kind of tired of just holding that heavy camera and wants something else to do, she can help you out. Are we ready to get away from football players and ponies? Yeah. Deep dive into history a little bit. What do you think? All right, I'm ready. I'm not a football fan. Can you guys tell?
Not either.
Let's get away from the football players.
So you want us to leave these running continuously, not like a start and stop?
I'm going to give you the cues and start. Oh yeah, we're going to do plenty of starts and stops.
Okay.
In between spaces, like with the historical pieces. Like I'm going to go through like a good 4 to 5 minute historical piece where we're going to be talking about your devices and getting you ready of like what to look for, what to watch for in the space we're in. Sometimes people want to record that, but it's already going to be on your regular audio, so it's not always necessary. But if we're not recording, we're not going to capture anything.
Okay.
So we never know. It's up to you. I'll give you cues for it, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'm already recording. Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure you had some kind of footage rolling for us. Like, roll that beautiful bean footage, right?
Got it. You kind of sound like the guy. Is it? Oh, that is. We were just on the other side of that barn. I didn't even realize. Okay.
What's up? Are we nearby where that place was?
Not very far. This is where we were walking back, so it's over here somewhere.
We made our way down to the church, the big church on Church Street, the
St. Philip's.
St. Philip's.
I feel like it may be
And
a
we
street
were-
or two over.
Yeah, we were
right
trying
here.
to find our way back, and that's where we ran into that.
Well, what's funny is before I met with all of you, like I've been downtown for a few hours. Like I had to drop my daughter off in Myrtle Beach, so instead of me driving all the way back inland, I just come straight down here, and sometimes I'll just go walk around a little bit. I actually went through some of the neighborhoods back in here. So when you were explaining some of those places, I wonder if he was over on like Castle Street or anything like that. So again, if you think you're nearby, I mean, there's a neighborhood nearby. But
We're
definitely in a neighborhood.
residential, because that was part of what we were like. This is cool, and they got the shades that go up instead of coming down, and so that way you can't see in, but they can see out and whatnot. And across the street from, I feel like it was close to the church, but it was not on Church Road.
Okay. I don't know.
But it was definitely like
you were probably over on Queen.
Queen was one of the roads. 'Cause
That's where we were
also
getting
took a
back to.
couple
We weren't there
alleys
yet.
Okay.
in between.
Yeah, 'cause there's not many neighborhoods over there.
Yeah, there was here and there was residential.
As we get closer to
We'll
it,
figure it out.
Yeah, you'll see it if we were close to those areas. Are you testing your smartwatch?
Yeah, because it went to like 54 when I put it close, but now I'm doing it on purpose and it's not
What was the number it went to?
54.
54 or 5.4?
54.0, 54. I think so, unless I didn't see correctly.
No, if you saw a 54, we actually had a 66 show up here last night, and it was one of the higher ones that I saw in a long time. Now, I will tell you, like this, like bucket machine right here, like this was not here last week, so we may test that just to make sure it's not coming off of that. But if you had a 54, like we're not in an area where there should be electricity, like at all. 54 is a very high reading even for this location. We normally see about an 18 to 22 is an average for this location. So 54, like you're already on, wow. I'm going to explain what those readings mean, like before we leave the space.
So you're haunted.
Yeah, it's all about you. You're the one that brought the ghost. Good job.
Cool.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
Making things happen.
I'm just making it more interesting for everyone.
I normally joke that I can't make the ghosts do anything because they're not on the payroll, but apparently they're on your payroll, so we're going to see what happens. So welcome to technically your first space. You made it to a parking lot. Congratulations. Now, this place used to be something. It used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So that's kind of the layout of the land. Now, for all of you with communication devices, I am not going to be giving you questions here like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn. It's going to be a matter of you're going to get the answers from your device and your spirit box, and I'm going to withhold information on purpose, so that way you have a genuine experience. Just remember, I can prove everything that I say is true. So, with that said, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses, in case you lost track. We need to know which Chuck we're chatting with, which is exactly why we look for those secondary clues. So in case one of them shows up, I don't know which one it is. You're going to find that a lot when you're dealing with people from the 17 and 1800s. They all have the same damn names. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics, so we're going to move on. Again, I don't like talking politics at all. We're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much cooler story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So if we're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, we're not going to get answers like 12 and 14, because that's not true. Again, think of today's standards. The reason I bring it up is because her husband was over double her age when they married. It was
he 42?
It was not. It was a creepy age gap back in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now.
You said if it's over 2.5, right?
2.5.
He was in 3.1.
2.1 is still kind of natural from the Earth.
Oh.
Yeah, up to 1.1 is usually that natural EMF. But that's why I kind of wait for that 2.5, because it's the second green dot on the other device that I put away. So that kind of gives us a good barometer. So, a good threshold, rather. But where was I? So, the marriage thing, right? So, but anyway, she married Charles because her father, he was over in England, which is where Eliza is from, and he thought he was dying. And he's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Well, Eliza didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put, and she got married in 1744. You don't get married in 1744 to get a green card. We're not even a country yet. So she did marry Charles out of love, and she was right. Dad did not die right away. He starts sending her gifts from England to here, this exact space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes our blue jeans blue. It makes the blue dye for them. So some of you are actually wearing it right now, because that's what we use it for today. But when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here, as I'm sure you can tell now, with some of you with sweatshirts on and whatnot. She learned from them, and then she figured it out and moved it to a plantation just south of here. It turned into a huge cash crop. Calls her father and says, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That's the boring stuff. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here, I'm sure. So, I'm going to go through like a series of questions with each type of communication device and kind of let everybody know what to expect out of the device. There is people going to their car right now, so again, with the cameras, I think we're doing okay. But again, that's the kind of mentality I'm looking for. Just don't film them. With yours, I want you to go after Eliza's death. Ask anything you want to. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Yeah, lots of questions.
So, what was her name again?
Eliza.
Eliza?
Well, when we spread out. Because I'm going to give everybody. He is the smart ass all night long, isn't he? Awesome. I'm going to dish it right back to him, just so you know.
Let him have it. Yes.
With yours. Let's see.
Ghostbusters, what do you
What
want?
do we want to go with? The children with yours. I already told you there's at least one. Charles. There's more. You can ask how many and what their names were. And that's it. The reason why is because there's a tragedy among those kids. If we poke the bear too much, we don't want to remind Eliza of the tragedy too much and make her angry. All activity will stop, including the readings that Dalia's getting over that. So, again, just be very respectful with that. With your device, the mansion's not here anymore. So, again, obviously, that's a big question of what happened to it. If you get an answer, let's see if we can actually get when that happened, like a very specific date. So you might get the actual month, you might get a series of numbers. That thing will give you either way. So we're going to see what we can actually get out of it. With yours. Because we're still teaching the ghosts how to use that thing, we're going to keep it nice and simple. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife, Eliza, died in January of 1744, and 5 months later, he marries the one we just talked about. So, kind of a jerk move, if you really think about it. Now,
He didn't have to learn any names.
he didn't. So, it's really smart or really stupid, just depending on which guy you're talking to. Now, with that said, both Eliza wives have a maiden name that starts with the letter L, which makes their initials ELP on both of them. I want to see if we can get one of them to show us their initials. It's 3 consecutive letters. I don't want PLE, I want ELP to show up. Now you should have, do you have a series of letters on your bottom row right now?
I just have F.
Just F. So we're going to turn up the sensitivity so that way we can actually get a series of numbers. And you might get a little bit of stuff in there. Now we have gotten Eliza's name out of that, and it was kind of in a little bit of a scramble with an extra letter. So it was EULZIA. So it was Yulzia. And it's all the letters of Eliza with an extra U in the middle of it. So that was the first week we used it, so I went, okay, I don't have to teach the ghosts how to use this. That's not the most productive tool, but again, when we're trying to unscramble things and look at it at a certain way, it's very interesting how things start to pop up and start making sense with all of the other devices going on. So,
So what am I supposed to ask? Or just...
I mean, you're going to be speaking, you're not going to ask it anything. You're going to be asking Eliza what her initials are, and if she wants to put them on the box. And she can do that by moving closer to it when the cursor is there, like teach her how to use it kind of mentality. All right, so I do have to keep Dahlia. I have to keep her behind to show her how to use that motion sensor. I was getting it, Maria. I had you guys mixed up again in my head. So I'm going to keep you behind for a second. Everybody else, we're going to spread out. Just don't film vehicles and don't go in between vehicles. We have plenty of space where we can still work around. I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you in just a minute once I'm done showing Dahlia how to use this guy. And then I'll be taking notes from all of you of what you're hearing, what you're seeing, and all of those kind of things popping up. Again, I guess, Maria, first things first, hit the little white box next to the word on the right-hand side. You should be able to see the whole series of all the words that have shown up so far. What are the last couple of things that have popped up?
Progressive, bottom, congressional, Madeline, boots, frustrating, James.
I like the word congressional. I know we talked about, the Constitution, but I'm going to look to see if any of the Pinckney specifically were in Congress. So again, we're going to take a look at that because they were all politicians, but I want to see, specifically, I want that word Congress to come out of it. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Right.
We have gotten the word.
You forgot one. Maybe they're telling you, you forgot one.
Yeah. Look, there is so much information about this family. There's so many books I can read and spit back to you in a 5-minute time frame.
Absolutely.
So that's why I talk so fast, is I'm trying to give you as much info to grab as possible, but not give away all the answers. So that's kind of the fun part of this, is you guys don't know what's going to pop up, and neither do I. So let's have some fun, start spreading out. Carolina, you good? You look a little worried. Okay, just got that look on your face.
We're staying in this parking lot.
Yeah,
right
just
here.
going to stay within the confines of these walls right here.
Okay.
We're not going to venture off. Well, we might be able to venture off a little bit. Just make sure you can stay in sight of the entire group. How about that?
Okay.
So, Dahlia, come on over, sweetheart. Let's show you how to use that. You've gotten us the big 54, which is good. Have you had any other numbers pop up?
45.
I kind of want to go to where the house was.
Okay.
I feel like if she was here, she would be in the house.
I have to keep a person in my frame, so that's fine. I can keep you in my frame.
Okay, let me switch it to this here.
Okay.
I'm going to keep the same bed because he's right. My earwax is gross. Are we close to the house? Trying to find a happy volume. Eliza. Eliza. What president was at your funeral? Did he help carry your coffin? There was a no in there.
We heard that. Yeah.
What was he doing there? $0.25.
No, and 25 cents. What else are you supposed to ask?
Let's walk more this way. Get them in it, maybe.
Yeah.
I think we're in the house now.
Are we in the house?
Within the home?
Eliza? Are you there? Eliza, are you there?
Can you make a cold spot for us to show you that you're here?
What else were you supposed to ask her?
I forgot.
Oh dear. We'll have to ask him.
How old were you when you passed, Eliza?
What was the question about the president?
He was at her. He was at the funeral.
Which president was at her funeral?
Which president was at your funeral, Eliza?
I'll turn this way so I can get some other folks. There we go. Eliza, did you have a president at your funeral?
Eliza, would you please speak with us?
Oh.
Is there anyone else here?
Is there anyone who knew Eliza that's here? Oops. Can't even tell those are cars.
Eliza, how many children did you have?
Three of them.
Were you happily married? I'd like to try again to find out which president was at your funeral.
I would say every time you get a full line, take a look at it. If you're unsure, let me see it before you reset it again.
Eliza?
Do you want to talk to us?
Not that I'm being arrogant, it's just one of those
Or
pieces.
do you want us to go away?
Are you guys taking selfies?
No.
Oh.
Are we?
We're sharing the earbuds, and this way we stay close
I
enough to
can
where I don't
hear
rip
her.
them out of her ear.
Fair enough. Have we heard anything yet?
We
Coffee?
asked if the president helped carry her coffin because we've not got any responses about the president, and we got a very clear no.
That was clear as a bell.
We've asked which president on a couple occasions. We asked what age. Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
You also have to remember, like, this is just a random series of questions. Whatever's going to come through on a radio station and they can recognize, they're going to grab it.
Right.
So even if a weird phrase like you hear, like, drop it like it's hot, might actually mean something in this location.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you see
I
where I'm-
feel like
We've been repeating things that stand out.
Okay.
see if we both heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Anything, like, what were some of the things that you repeated back to each other?
Remember?
No. So clear.
This was the wrong pair to give this
We
device
really
to.
was.
So-
And,
Also keep in mind that you're asking questions and so are 3 other people.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you might get an
that's
answer to
true.
one of theirs. That's
That's
why I
true.
love to use so many devices.
Got it.
okay.
So even if it was just going to be the 2 of you tonight, like, I
So
still
just
come
repeat
down.
everything we say so it's on recording that
So
we
we'll
said it, and
remember
then we'll
what
figure
we-
out somebody else asked it.
Yeah, well, we're going to recap before we leave
Yeah.
the space. So if you guys were to hear drop it like it's hot and somebody else was asking what happened to the mansion,
Yeah.
obviously the word hot signifies fire.
Right.
So that one makes
Okay.
sense to me. So I know it sounds silly to repeat back to me that drop it like it's hot is a song lyric, especially a
Okay.
very
I
updated
feel like
song.
I came across a hot. Do you recall that?
I don't know.
Do you have the one that's recording? You do not. So we're going to be relying on you for what you hear in real time because you're going to get the recording of the other one.
Okay.
And that's the one I'm going to be spot checking.
Because is there a hot something FM in town? It sounded like they were
It's a possibility.
saying their call.
I will be
FM.
honest, we normally get the term fire, like straight up. Like,
Okay.
that's the term we'll normally get.
Okay.
Drop it like it's hot was a clue one night because we actually had the date show up along with it. So it was kind of like, all right, you heard drop it like it's hot, which you thought was funny, but now we have this date. You know,
That goes
these
with
are
it.
not coincidental.
Okay.
Right.
So let me see what they're hearing on their end.
Okay.
Victoria, what do you got on yours? You got a full list already? So we might have too much coming. We're going to turn down the sound.
So, is there anything else you want to tell us, Eliza?
Hopefully not get as much garbage.
What else would you want people to know about you?
Just some Davies. I don't know.
Somewhat.
David, kind of.
David?
Yeah.
What's great?
After
so
school.
No help. Yeah.
I'm not sure what you're trying to tell us.
Any other numbers coming up?
822 and a 13. Around that.
822?
22. 22.
You're getting some really good numbers.
Exact scheme.
What was an exact scheme?
How's your word list coming? Can I take a look at the whole
Depression?
thing if you don't mind? Just 'cause I missed what's going on at Big John's.
Who was scheming?
Remember, I'm holding things back. So,
Was somebody scheming?
my action comes up. Almost 17. Usually. Names and numbers are usually, they never lie. So I don't know who James is at this point.
Were there people who didn't like you?
Big John's team. We do get lead over. And Madeline I've seen show up here in the past, and I dug into the fake names to see if there was a family relation, a family friend. I can't find any.
I'm sorry, did you not like that question?
So with the YN and then the IN.
Did your house
Word right is
burn
software
down?
Here, but I want a secondary clue to verify it. Like, I'm not going to get anybody excited because that one is pretty seldom that we hear from that specific person, family member here. So we'll kind of see how that pops up.
How did your house burn down?
I used the thing for like 5 seconds and I heard the number 2. I'm not sure what
Some people walking by.
Were you home when this happened?
So somebody else hit 20, and we get the 22.
Let's walk around. Maybe this way.
We're coming close to the front of the house now.
Let me turn around so I can get them. Okay.
Did anything interesting happen that you want to tell us about?
Eliza, I'm super impressed that you are one of the most powerful women in the 1700s. I didn't catch that. See what?
Where do we need to look?
What are we looking for? Is there something you want to show us? Not yet.
Did you know a president?
Eliza, have you ever met one of the presidents of the United States?
Oh, it's coming for us.
Oh,
All right. You guys getting the gist of it now?
I think so.
What do you got?
Trying.
What do you got now?
Oh, golly.
It's not easy, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not. And when stuff does come through to me, it's kind of squelchy, if that makes sense. So it's really hard to understand what they're saying. What do we ask? We've asked so much.
I know, we're just not
I
getting
got
a lot.
like you got something, and then I got school.
Yeah.
Okay, so you heard the word school.
Yeah,
After school.
after school is what I heard.
Yeah.
I think that was before we started asking about the fire. We really didn't get anything about a fire.
She told us not yet.
It's really
look,
vague.
And look.
And
We're like, look
yeah.
where?
You're holding a camera.
I know, and I'm like,
But a lot of
I
times
do-
we'll get the direction of look, camera, photograph. You know, those kind of things
Okay.
will pop up. Those are the photographs that I need to look at of when did that show up.
Okay.
So if
So to sync the time of everything, it might be
Okay.
on that camera.
well, and I was asking her, like,
DLIZ. No way.
no
oh,
A.
oh dear.
It's damn close.
Okay. Where did you get that? Where? Over in the corner?
In the middle.
In the
In
middle.
the middle? Let's go stand in the middle.
And we, like I said, yeah, I would. Got the ELIZ written down, so
I'm definitely counting on you to remember everything we said, because I'm forgetting.
This is like the wrong device for you.
Yes. as much as I wanted to do it. I can't remember what I'm doing. Are you over here?
I wanted to come over here to see you or hear you.
Like, this would be exciting, everybody. We got some activity going on, which means you guys are probably just missing things on these hearable spirit boxes. So, again, that's, you guys have never done this
Are you
before, so
talking
that's
to
exciting.
anyone yet in the
We
group?
have a lot going on. We had an ELIZ show up.
I heard
Now,
a
with
beep.
yours, we do capture
Yeah,
a
there's
lot of,
a
like,
beep.
orbs. So
What did the
orbs
beep
start to
mean?
pass through. I debunk a lot of them because it might just be bug coming
Are you
through, so
able
it's
to
really bright.
manipulate her
So if you see
device
something small and
with
white
your
fly really
initials?
fast, it's usually just a bug. So,
I'll show her. Maybe.
but I do.
We
I
know
have
that
I just
you
got an
put
E
with that specific
E?
camera quite a bit.
an E.
after you said that.
Great,
Did you
keep
just put that
nice.
E on her
We're
device?
gonna be stopping that video here in just a minute. Anything else
Are
coming
you
up?
writing your name for us?
We want you to try to give us your 3 initials.
Is that how much money you're
On her
gonna give me
device.
later on?
Did you
Oh,
do
yeah,
that?
for sure. If I get
again?
4 million,
We're glad
Or
you're
if
here
you
talking
want to
to
give
us.
us the initials through this device.
31?
31.
What's 31 mean?
You have the word big. We're still close to Big John's. Like, we're only 1 block away. That's what I call bleed over. So we could be.
Is there
could have
someone
gotten
else
Pinckney
here?
Mansion site terms over there and vice versa. So again, we have big.
Eliza,
hopefully John
I
shows
think
up
you
somewhere
said hello.
else.
Is there
Now we're
someone
gonna be
else
looking
here?
for John on Brianne's device. Do you have the name John on there by chance?
no. I just had a WZ right after each other.
I got nothing.
Is there anyone else here that wants to talk to us?
Eliza, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Here's your number. What number?
Here's your number. Is that what you just heard?
I got a number a minute ago too.
It's 31.
I just got a Y.
Got a Charles.
Did you understand that?
I think it was Festival.
Festival?
Take that.
I'm excited about Big
Medical.
Show,
I'm trying
too.
to take a look. I don't see anyone here. Are you hiding somewhere? I know you wanted to show me something earlier.
Just got an N.
Oh
YN.
my gosh, what was that?
I don't know, but that was creepy. I couldn't understand what it said.
Hi?
It might have been a high.
It was like
like
a real...
like
Of course, the one that's not recording.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Who said hello? Who was
It said,
that?
Yeah.
Hi. Who was that?
Hello.
Of course. Told you, it's like a college drinking game.
Who said hi?
What are you hearing on yours? Anything? Is there starting
Was
to
that
get-
Eliza that said hi?
Here I can hear, like, close to her, I always hear, like, clearly.
Is that Big John? Did you come over to say hi?
Hi is not a term that would have been out of the 1700s.
No.
That's true.
Sorry, English guy. That's why you guys keep me around.
Is this somebody we know that just said hi?
Okay, there's our cue. So, with that, turn down your spirit boxes. We're going to go back to the back. I'm going to explain that one.
Yeah, that's intense.
It's a lot of.
Near Dad? Oh my gosh. Can you just put it now?
By the way, everybody struggles with that camera getting it started back up. You got yours on the right, the left side. We're good. All right, what have we heard? What have we seen? What do we got? Did we hear anything? Nothing at all, Victoria?
Not much.
Not much?
I heard there a phrase, I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's
Okay. What about you two?
We're just now.
Is it turned up?
Oh.
Is this Blood Alley?
This is Lodge Alley. So Lodge Alley, I don't know what Blood Alley is, I'll be honest. I have no idea. We're going to Dueler's Alley after this. don't think I know what Blood Alley is. But anyway, here's where we are. When we cross that last crosswalk coming down East Bay
Is it
Street,
all the way
by the way,
turned
did you
up?
have anything pop up on yours?
Is it all the way up?
It wasn't, but he started talking, so I turned it down.
Yeah, I got nothing on any of those. Well, the list is actually pretty weak tonight. We'll see what happens on the back half. So, that last street that we crossed over, that was where the original Charlestown Wall used to be, which means you are standing on one of the first streets we ever had. These bricks that you're standing on have been here since 1739 that we know of. We're going to let this young lady pass through. Come on through tonight.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. How are you? So, the reason why I was asking you all for names is because I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here during the 1800s when people actually lived down this alley. These two giant buildings that we're looking at, they weren't here. So, you guys always give me the same two names every 6 to 7 weeks. Those two names happen to be the names Benjamin and John. Obviously, none of you heard Benjamin and John, but we are also on week 1 of the loop. The loop is about 6 to 7 weeks long in total. The weeks 6 and 7 is where we normally start to get those names. So I didn't know what to expect coming out of a full moon, starting the week off kind of thing, so I'm still gauging it because we never know what's going to occur here. Benjamin and John both lived here during the same time frame. They both lived here in 1801. When I say people lived here, it's not a whole length of list of people that lived here. Like, it's 2 to 5 people at a time. Benjamin and John both lived here during 1801 out of 5 people. That's not too shabby, 2 out of 5, and we keep getting those same 2 names over and over and over again. John likes to give us his last name because there were 4 different Johns that lived here in a 60-year time frame. John's last name, his mother was evil, by the way. She named him John Johnson. Yes, we will get the name John, Johnson, and Benjamin all in the same evening, and I have nothing else relevant to it other than why it's occurring. Again, the bricks, how old they are, 1739 that we know of. The historians can't even get it right. With that said, we're dealing with the stone tape theory. It's a paranormal theory where basically states that any natural stone, like granite, which is what these are made out of, can hang on to the memories of the things that occurred in that space. Because these have been here for so long, it's a great possibility that's exactly what we're dealing with. Now, granite, the stone itself, is not supposed to have an electrical charge to it. So, Dalia, I literally want you to set your device on any brick you choose, and we're not going to expect anything above a 1.1 because that's natural from the earth. That's what a granite piece should have. So if she gets anything above that, I'll be pretty stoked. We have seen it go 3.9,
3.7,
it's dropping. 3.5 to 3.9. So it's not too bad of a reading here, even though we've seen it go all the way to 15, and we did have an 8.8 nights ago. We're in week 7 at that point. So again, I never know when things are going to start occurring. Yeah, keep testing other bricks.
Have you made anything out?
Not yet.
See, this is why we test.
I had 2,
Test,
and
test,
I don't
test.
forgot them.
You did?
I was waiting
Just
for
going
them
to leave the
to start
notebook
talking.
out.
Just say I'm
But
one.
with that
Yeah.
said, here's the other weird thing that goes on down here. The 4 of the people live down here that I was just talking about.
Alana.
The Freemasons
I
had a
heard
Masonic
Carolina.
lodge down here.
Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're listening to Charleston, South Carolina radio stations. I usually throw that stuff out. It's too easy. Anything with the year in it because of car commercials, especially if the number 22 is relevant to the space, I throw it away.
I got a 2 earlier.
Yeah, but why a 2022 Kia? You know what I mean?
I
throw
got
that
you.
out. So, what do you got?
I am getting like
Free? Did you get that free a minute ago?
Threes
Did you
and
get that
fours all in the
free?
middle. I have
No.
a 3.5 to 5.1, so if you get anything above a 5, let me know. But the Freemasons, here's the weird thing. The 2 red spirit boxes that you guys are using with the earbuds, as we turn the corner, people will often hear the word Illuminati.
I got free a minute ago.
Now, first off, with the word Illuminati, you're listening to radio stations. Who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the
Right.
radio? That's the first question. The second question is, why are we only hearing it while we're here? So 6 times last year alone, 3 times so far this year, I verified every single one of them because it's always on the recordable one. So there have been other claims to it after the fact, but again, it's one of those pieces I want it before you know that the Freemasons had anything to do with the space. Again, it's funny to hear the word Illuminati because you don't expect it. We get other terms around that, so like Freemasons, Mason, bricks, symbols. We will get other terms from time to time. So a lot of that will normally show up on the digital word list, so we never know what we're actually going to get out of this location. Again, did you get anything above 5? So And are you hearing anything, or are you
Upside
focused on me?
down.
No, I'm trying to focus.
I know, it's hard to focus on both of us, so between me and the spirit box. But the next space we're going to go to is another alley, but I can't take you all the way through it like what we're doing now. The reason why is because I've been kicked out of it. Yeah, you guys are holding all my blinky lights and noisemakers and all of that kind of stuff, and it is considered residential on the one half. So we're going to sneak in on the opposite half, and we're going to see other tours start to like pass by. Again, I'm sure you guys picked up on the fact that I like to go to places where the other tours don't go, but we're going to start hitting that more touristy type location around town. And I'm surprised that this guy's even down here, because again, I like to come here because nobody else does. Again, it's one of those weird spaces where you guys get to see something new. And
Well,
I'm sure
it said high risk as you were talking about sneaking in from the other side.
it
Swear to
is high
God.
risk.
Yeah, it did.
Well, I'm going to
I
tell
was
you,
like, why is it high risk?
because I can get a ticket out of it. So if the neighbor catches me on the wrong side of the alley, I get a fine and a ticket. So, but we'll talk more about that.
I got a
Literally.
literally.
What was it?
I got a
Literally.
literally. I can't spit it out, but I got it.
Literally.
Yes, literally.
All right, so as we exit the alley, stop your videos because we'll be cutting through a neighborhood to get to the next alley. We don't record houses just like we don't record cars. When we get to the next alley, by all means, turn them all back on again, and you can leave them on the rest of the night if you want to, so that way you're not back and forth with it. So, anything else I need to know? Word list, Ouija board,
I heard upside down.
Last name for the vendor.
Hopkins.
Hopkins?
Yeah.
Oh no, I do have a name.
With
It's
a
like
BH?
flat. It's separated.
Well, looking for, that's pretty separated. So we're going to look for a little bit more consecutive back and forth. Yeah. Less letters in between. It's a good stretch, but I'm going to debunk that one pretty quick. If it said, Ben Hop, I'd be super excited because that's Benjamin Hopkins. I'd be very excited about that. All right, let's head on to the next alley. You should switch. I don't know who Megan is. And then Manic Monday. That's a lot of M's, guys.
Yeah,
How many M's you got?
8 a.m.
Q's.
2 Q's.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. All right.
And 2 F's.
2 Q's, 2 F's. Q, F, Q, F. Yeah, I got nothing. So,
Caitlin. Oh,
where
Caitlin.
are these people? It's probably somebody on my next damn tour. You watch. I'm telling you. That's how that goes. If it's a name I don't recognize, I'm like, yeah, it's somebody.
Hello.
So between
Hello.
Megan and Caitlin. So we are going to be telling the same story that that every other ghost tour that comes down here tells, but we're ghost hunting. We need different details. You're going to hear it a lot
It's
different.
Manic Monday again, so it must be on the radio.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure it is. But if you heard the lyric Manic Monday,
Twice.
that's what you need.
Yeah.
So again, remember the lyric, drop it like it's hot.
Yeah.
So
My
that's about the lyric.
husband.
My husband. Caitlin's husband. Megan's husband. Who knew?
Well, maybe it's both.
Right? We're going to find out. But anyway,
Maybe they dueled for her husband.
it did not. And her name was Amanda. So here's how this story goes. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here, which, by the way, Brown Eyed Girl loves to play at this time in time that we're here, so we can get the word brown out of it. Yeah, not coincidental at all. Now, with that said, he's moving down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has all this cash, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this money. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. To prove that he's not after her money, he comes here to Charleston. And as he's coming into town, the coachman that was bringing him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. Somebody was walking by. He seen what was about to happen.
Blood on the.
What's that?
Blood on the. That's all it said.
blood. But the guy that was walking by seemed like he knew the guy, the coachman that was going to try to kill this new doctor coming to town. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Now, before we even had the Ouija board device, the letters RI would show up on your spirit boxes because...
Sorry.
You're good. That's the same initials as where the doctor came from as well. So Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. We get RI all the time, so that's going to be your focus here. But two different characters, we need a secondary clue as to who it belongs to. Ralph tells the doctor, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there. The number 59 shows up here all the time too, by the way. But the doctor takes him up on the offer, and the two become friends. The longer the doctor's staying in Charleston, the more money he's making, proving his point he's not after Amanda's money. That means Amanda's coming down soon, and they're going to get married. He's a pretty happy guy, right, Rob? The guy who just got engaged?
Yeah.
So, with that, he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor, because he whistled all the time. She's going to expect you to whistle the whole way home now. So, but every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. I can guarantee it. It's all over America. But we actually have proof of this one. I'm going to get to that. But him and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money at this point. So he gets better seats. They talk up. This is me excited, everybody. She has R.I. Ralph Isaacs. We need a secondary clue. So that's super exciting. They go see Richard III one night, and they're arguing over the new actress on the way home. Because remember, they couldn't sit next to each other. The doctor thought that the new actress was fantastic, but Ralph not so much. When they start arguing, Ralph starts insulting Amanda, the fiancée of the doctor back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways, but Ralph, having all of his friends here, he has friends at the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor at this point. Kind of, you're a disgrace to society kind of thing. The doctor sees the ad, and he rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they came down here, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend, but Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor didn't die either, but he drops to the ground, and Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off. Dr. Ladd's friends pick him up, they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember, this guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed it out himself. So, they say as you walk through here, they say you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor as you're walking through. We're going to let this tour pass through. You're good. How are you? Sorry, we normally split the C's. That's okay. Now you guys see how large the other tour groups can get. Wow, we still got one. What did he bring in?
Whistle.
Oh.
You heard whistle?
Whoa. Wow.
So the RI obviously belongs to the doctor. So we just got
Sorry.
the word whistle.
I heard really?
You heard the word whistle, or you heard a whistle?
No, the word whistle.
Thanks.
It was really weird.
Alright. That was a large group, eh? Wow. Now you guys see, like, even if I added 3 to 4 more people to this group, it's still, obviously relatively small compared to them. But anyway, but they say as you walk through here, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. And we used to go all the way through here and use my voice recorder. And it was before we had all the earbuds with the spirit boxes. So I was like, all right, turn them things down. But it's also how we actually got caught at this location. But if you're going to try to walk through here with your voice recorders on your own, without me, of course, because I can't take you to the other side, keep in mind, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street on this side throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We're going to end over there, but my garage is that way. So again, I'm going to, when we're done, I'm going to throw my whistle down the alley like I do every night. When my daughter's on the tour, we actually race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. So again, are you getting any readings out of that?
But just green.
Just a green?
Yeah.
I'm seeing you're getting like a 2.7, 2.8.
Oh, yeah.
So it's still kind of steady, so it's got to be coming from something man-made.
Yeah.
Here's how I got booted out of here. This is the fun part. This is what everybody wants to know. How did I get in trouble? So, this alley didn't go all the way through this way, which means the bricks that side are older. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint in one of those bricks from a slave child and fingerprint swipes off to the side. I would always show it off because I'm sure you guys picked up I'm all about the history, and we all need to see that damn brick because it shows how far we've come, right?
Yeah.
Away from slavery. So I don't care the diversity of my group, we're all going to stare at it for a second. However, everybody tries to get a reading at it with all the gear that I bring along, right? I treat that thing the same way I do a grave. The kid's not staring at the brick in the afterlife. Like, that's the last place he's going
It's
to
like
be.
F that brick.
I know, right? Kick it. Keep it in the ground. But at any rate, one night, November 26th of 2020, my entire team of 10 wanted to huddle, just like we are right now, in front of that one brick trying to get a reading out of it. I'm trying to shoo them along because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. Yeah, the new owner was not happy with me. I was out of bounds, which I was legitimately out of bounds where I was not supposed to be, and he come out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at.
Yeah.
So we moved
Your
on.
daughter was in that tour.
She was 13, 14 years old at that point, so she was, yeah, she was laughing her ass off, to be quite honest. That was kind of a crazy night. I won't even tell you what happened the rest of the night, but this is why I tell you this story, is because the next day was Thanksgiving. I didn't have a tour that day. I worked in retail for over 20 years. I'm never working another Thanksgiving in my life, just so everybody knows. So the next day was November 28th. These dates are relevant. I'm getting to it. Now, November 28th, I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, because that's the cutoff point, or to reroute my group to go to a whole other part of the town. So I tell my group that night, we're going to wing it, because what we're going to be talking about, I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So I'm going to tell you what little bit I do know about piracy, and we're going to see what happens and wing it. Tickets were much cheaper back then, by the way. Can't wing it anymore. So, before we leave, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, oh shit, maybe something's going to happen. So we get up there, I told what little bit I did know about Anne, and somebody else hears the number 300 on another spirit box. So I don't know what that means until I'm doing the research the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th
That's
anniversary
crazy.
of her pirate trial. So, I keep taking you all back up there in hopes that we're going to continue to get more stuff. Here's what I'm going to tell you. First off, again, I'm a vampire guy, but I've read more damn books on pirates since that day, trying to piece together a factual investigation based on pirate lore. So,
It'd be popular.
yeah. It's an open forum once we get up there. I'm only going to give you 2 questions. It's not going to be a location where I'm going to give you a plethora of questions like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. It is also a hit or miss location. I will tell you, last night we had absolutely nil come out of that location for Anne Bonny. It does occur, but last night was a total bomb. So we're going to see what happens tonight. Worst case scenario, you're going to learn a whole hell of a lot about pirates that you never even thought was possible when I tell you this crazy story.
Kind of why?
Why? That's
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, possibly. It's very interesting. You have the same 3-letter because it has to cycle through the whole alphabet
Yeah,
in order to get to the same
Oh.
letter
and
again.
it's sometimes it cycled twice on some.
Interesting. We're going to see other tours up in that corner, but once I'm done telling you the history, we're going to spread out quite a bit. And again, we're going to go full-blown like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site, but you're going to have a little bit more ground to cover. So I'll kind of explain that once we get up in that location. Again, for those of you recording with videos, feel free to continue to do so if you'd like. But spirit boxes, I definitely need you focused on what's going on with your devices until we get to the next space. Have we gotten anything else that we need to know, Maria?
I just heard the whistle again. I'm not sure
This is
why.
why I tell such long stories, guys. Because some of these places we can't spread out, right? So it's a matter of staying in the same place.
The newest?
And I also we got a visitor.
We got a visitor.
I just got house, problem, newspaper, advance, and actress.
Are you serious?
Just casually.
Wow. So, first off, hang on, I'll explain them. She has the word house. So obviously I told you about the very specific house that he stayed in. It was 59 Church Street. That's an exact address. We locals, we know it as the Thomas Rose House. So the word Rose will show up from time to time, but you have the word house. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully there's a secondary clue. Newspaper. Ralph Isaacs placed an ad in the newspaper to disgrace the doctor. You also have, what was the other one?
Actress.
Actress. They argued over the actress in the play Richard III.
Wow.
And it says problems. So they marked it.
Holy shit! Like holy shnikes, Batman. Who's the Scooby-Doo? We need to reveal. Like so, like that's a lot like going on. And you heard the term whistle 2 times.
Yeah.
Like again, I'm stoked, guys. I can't even tell you. Like I haven't had like real-time stuff happen like this and this procession in a while. So again, the other night on the full moon, it was kind of crazy, but we literally had my entire bag emptied. So it was a pretty crazy score when I was done with it. Which, by the way, I rate your investigation and I kind of score it so that way I kind of know which nights, based on moon phases and temperature, which ones are the most
Makes
active.
a difference.
So again, I gauge all that stuff for you. It's going to be in your report tomorrow. I am super stoked, and honestly, I want to spend the rest of the night here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go talk about crazy pirates, and hopefully Ann Bonnie's listening. That we're coming.
I did.
We're coming your way, so she better be active. All right, Carolina, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Again, you haven't said much all night. She's like, I heard whistle again. Like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
the one thing she
only
said.
speaks when it's like a bomb.
I know, right? All right, let's head up this way.
I think it's super cool. Like, I stood next to her for a while, and that thing never said anything. And for it just to pop up that many words in a short period of time, that just adds credit.
Make sure you keep listening too.
So, before we move on, that gate that I was just standing in front of, remember that this alley didn't come all the way through. So, in the event that there was a loser to the duel, that was the shortcut to get over to St. Philip Cemetery. Otherwise, they'd have to walk all the way down to Queen Street and go down and around carrying a dead body.
Great.
Like, not a whole lot of people know why that gate is there, but it didn't have the gate there, it was just the archway. But they created that so it was an easy shortcut to get to the cemetery so they can go celebrate the winter quicker.
Nice.
So, just pointing that out. Based off of her numbers. So I'm not expecting a whole lot of letters here, and you're getting like a crap ton.
And I'm at 0.
And you're at 0.
Yeah.
Which is super weird, because that works off of the EMF fields. So when the EMF field changes or fluctuates, that's when it goes off. So, anything crazy going on that I need to know
Yeah.
about? Yes.
Widow, talk to them, live.
Tuxedo, life.
No, widow.
Widow.
Yeah, widow.
I don't know who that is.
You know what's right there, right?
I'm sorry, your accent's a little thick for me.
I don't know where it's.
I said, you know where we're at, right?
Yeah.
Life. What was the other term? Is it widow, life?
Talk to them.
Talk to them.
And 2-1.
2-1? You're gonna see why that one makes sense later on. Anybody else got anything?
0.
She's like, I got shit. That's what I got. Absolutely nothing. Any word coming up?
Large and few.
Yeah, that makes no sense. It's like an oxymoron, right? The large few. So, with that said, welcome.
Show us.
Oh, we're going to.
Move it along. Show us.
I have HI, but they don't say hi.
Do you have an S in front of that H?
No, HIV.
It kind of makes sense here.
I mean, it could be initials for somebody.
It's not,
Oh.
but I'm talking like literal HIV.
HIVI.
The SH is what you're looking for here. SHH to be
Maybe it
exact.
was, I don't remember what the last letter before that was, like before I reset it.
Alright. Normally, this whole corner is just littered with ghost tours, just so you guys know. We didn't see any, but all of them do their big finale across the street, and I let them have it because it's their one show and tell, which I'm going to show you. Don't worry. So, Oak,
Turn it.
like OAK.
Fire.
Turn it. Like turn it on. Turn it. Still 0.
Still jack shit, nothing.
We're not getting anything either.
Like, wow. So, like, Oak is like,
That's perfectly spelled.
yeah. I'm excited about that.
The
I don't
oak
know
is
why.
where they hang them from, yeah?
Let him do his
Yeah,
thing.
but this one's weird.
Okay.
Very weird. So turn it in oak. Remind me to write those down and the word fire. Like those are all somewhat relevant. I don't know what oak is yet, but that's not a term I would expect here, so I'm going to definitely dive in and see what's going on. But anyway, there's two different sides to the St. Philip Cemetery. I'm sure you guys noticed the giant steeple. The other side of the street is where the other tourists go, because there's a sign right inside the cemetery that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. The reason for that is because in 1888 a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. Now, we do get her initials, and it's very cheesy, very campy, SHH. So again, we get it all the time. But with that, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. She's like, I'm going to get something. I don't care where it comes from. Love it. That's pretty much the end of her story. But in 1987, a local photographer is taking pictures of all of our cemeteries. He's putting a book together. And he captures a full apparition in one of his photographs. That he can't figure out what's going on with it because it's 1987. He doesn't have the tech that we have now. So he sends it off to Kodak. Kodak doesn't know what to do with this picture, but they've also authenticated it to show that it hasn't been tampered with. Now, I'm going to show you this thing, but this thing's like gold for guys like me. It's cursed to females. You're all manly females tonight. Nobody touched the tablet. It is said that females that handle it, even in a digital format, no selfies, Carolina, I saw that. Females that touch it, same symptoms we talked about at the beginning, the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. So, pregnant females that are going to handle it, even in a digital format like a tablet or phone, not going to have a good pregnancy based off of the gist of the stillborn baby in the story. So, I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great engagement and 9 months later I cursed their family. Don't touch my damn tablet, is the point I'm trying to make here. Yeah, see, you guys are laughing. It's a good time, even though we have zeros over here.
I did get a 0.3.
That's still nothing for me. 0.3s are nada. So I'm gonna go 2 by 2 so everybody can kind of see the picture. It's beautiful, isn't it? All right, so that way you guys can all see it, and I will zoom in on the apparition. So there's their full picture that was taken. Your apparition is right here. So you're looking at a woman praying over her own grave and a baby basket next to her. Now, keep in mind, this is probably another instance where the baby is buried with mom. This is Sue's grave right here. I don't know if this is an oak or not, but I'm definitely going to be diving into the trees that are over there. That was my first thought when that word showed up.
Under the oak.
Under the oak.
Unintentional?
What's that?
Unintentional?
Unintentional. An unintentional death, but it's definitely a widow because she died before her husband. So, so full picture. Your apparition is here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave. You're looking at her
Goblin?
back with the.
Maybe.
What was that?
Goblin?
Oh.
It's probably garbage.
I thought you said Dublin for a second.
Maybe. I couldn't make it out.
Yeah, it was real hard. Like, she got more of a word out of it. It just sounded
It could have
weird.
been Dublin
Gobbledygook.
Yeah.
or Goblin.
Notice that baby basket next to her. Even when you zoom in on that baby basket on a computer even further, you can see the weaving on the basket. Like, it's in detail. So, again, this is, for guys like me, this is gold, right? Because it shows, like, we're legitimately doing something out here. But, again, the damn picture is cursed. In the event something shows up, well, actually, I'm going to have to give you something. I will put either this link does not contain the cursed photo, or it does contain the cursed photo with a warning on it. So nobody opens it by accident on their phones. Is that fair?
Did you hear, baby?
Mm-hmm.
Let me write down this stuff because you guys are going to lose me here in a second. So I have unintentional, I have fire, oak. You guys are actually doing really well now. I'm going to have to give you all jobs. Well, we just talked about the gate, didn't we?
Still 0.
Are you touching the
You've had
volume?
your moment.
Yeah.
I have my moment.
Sorry.
It's okay.
She's going to have another...
When he stops talking, I usually
Road or
turn.
Rose?
I'll usually turn it up a little bit. I don't know. I was talking.
Damn it, you had another one. I missed it.
At the beginning. After with fire. What was the
Fire,
Yeah, I trying to remember too.
unintentional,
Turn it.
turn it.
Yeah.
Oh, and show us.
Oh yeah, show us.
Right before the damn picture. All right, so you guys are giving me a lot now. Any words popping up that I need to know about?
Just some.
Some words, not a big deal. Bunch of zeros, not a big deal.
No, literally some.
Like, the word some?
Yeah, it's the word some on it. And she's like, just some. So we're going to be talking about that little tiny building over there. Those are not crosses on that building on there. Those are earthquake bolts. The reason I bring those up is because earthquake bolts are basically turnbuckles. If you're unfamiliar with them, you can turn them if we have another earthquake, which we haven't since 1886, like the one I talked about at the beginning. But it's supposed to prevent the building from taking any more damage. So it keeps it in place, kind of. It's a great idea. It just doesn't work. The only reason I bring those up specifically is because that's
Did you
the
hear
first
Rose again?
set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in.
I've
Because
heard
this is
road
the
or
oldest
rose
government building
twice.
in South Carolina. Not the apartment building in the back, not the brick building. I've seen your eyes that go straight back there. It's the little tiny building over there with the red roof. So we are here because this is what I call a familiar. This location was being built at the same time that
I'm
Anne
hearing
Bonny
stuff, but
came
I'm
here.
struggling to make it
So
out.
kind of keep that in mind. This is why we're here. Let's kind of get right in the middle of the story. There's a lot going on with this, so try to follow me. I would almost say turn your spirit boxes down at this point because there's a lot of twists and turns. What was that?
Just had.
I've heard road or rose 2 or 3 times.
Again, lead over from Philadelphia Alley. I told you
Okay.
59 Church Street was the Thomas Rose house.
Rose house.
There's Rose and
The road, I guess.
The
Yeah.
road.
Yep. So, 1708 is where our story begins, right in the middle of its construction. Because, by the way, this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But anyway, 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. That's why I got excited when I thought you said Dublin.
It could have been. I
have
couldn't
been.
quite make it out.
But you're not recording, so we need you to be accurate.
I know.
Like zeros. Those are very accurate.
Sorry. It was. I had to guess Goblin. It could have been Dublin. I don't know.
It probably was Goblin on some stupid commercial.
That's why I was like, Halloween commercial?
Anne moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys all with me so far? There's a couple little weird twists in here. Yeah, the 3 of them are running away from his angry wife. How pissed off was she that she had to leave leave Ireland to come here? So they land in Georgetown. Dad bought a plantation and Mom died pretty quickly. So that means Dad has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation and kind of keep things afloat. So that's why we're here. Building is familiar. Now, with that, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was like 7, 8, 9 years old with a knife to the belly. Sorry, Maria, you just happened to be next to me. So I'm not trying to kill anybody tonight. Normally I do a gunshot when I'm doing a dueling story, but again, I don't think you were like directly in front of me. So I usually kill the guy in the group. So, I know, right? But I want to put that mentality of Anne Bonny in the back of your heads as we kind of go through her history. Let's fast forward. The building's done in 13. Pirates are coming through here in 1715, and Anne is stoked because she wants to fall in love so she can earn her freedom just like a man. First guy she falls in love with. Yes, I said first. There's a handful, and we're going to go through them. So buckle up, everybody. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going. They got, because we already mentioned Anne Bonny's full name. Dad didn't approve, so they ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. This guy is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, right? Because every young lady wants a Captain Jack Sparrow, and I think we have 6 of you here to prove that. Sorry, Rob. She might want a Captain Jack Sparrow.
Probably. I mean, she's more into Foo Fighters, but...
Totally off the cuff. But anyway, this guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This isn't who she wants. He's a coward. So she falls in love again a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the Jack that they based Captain Jack Sparrow off of, just so you guys know. So is he the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for? Absolutely. The one and only. He has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of that ship. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why?
Bad luck.
Bad luck, right. So, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide your gender, you're going to be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because she knows it's a man's world, and Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, let's do this. I'm a pirate.
I've got practice.
Let's put 2 and 2 together for a second. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops off in Cuba. Go have the baby in Cuba. Come back later. We'll figure it out. So she goes and has a baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. I've researched and can't find anything. She's also dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. And while she was away giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting because that's what Anne does. We're on guy number 3, in case anybody lost track. Now, guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same ship.
That's awesome.
This young lady's name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for certain. And the British find out where they are. They send their fleet of ships to come take down one measly pirate ship. But Anne and Mary are the only two pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with one bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use the cannon yet. Now, two ladies against a whole fleet of ships is not going to work out. So as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack. She says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot, by the way. The judge, he wants to see the two men that fought back so valiantly by themselves. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight, so they're dead and gone 2 days prior. Anne and Mary go in front. They reveal their gender. He doesn't give a shit that they are female. They are still pirates in his eyes. So they say, "We plead our bellies," meaning they're claiming to be pregnant, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, we're going to count Mary Reed because we don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending, I know. But we don't know much about Anne Bonny after her pirate career. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later, 1721. We did hear the numbers 2-1, right? So again, I'm excited because we have a good start. Hopefully we're going to get something more out of this. Now, there's only 2 things that I left out of that whole shenanigans. Actually 3, and I noticed it as towards the end there. I left 3 things out, so if you want to ask questions, here's a couple of things you can ask. You can ask what Anne Bonny's parents' names were, because I did not tell you what they were. That would be the father and the mistress. I also didn't tell you the name of Calico Jack's ship. And the last thing I didn't tell you was the name of the judge that tried them and sent them off to jail. Now, I am going to keep you for 1 more minute before we spread out, because we're going to be able to spread out a lot. Those of you who want to just check out the front of the powder magazine, you can exit the lot here and go in front of the bushes to the left, and you'll run into the front if you want to get some footage. The only thing I ask is you don't interrupt other tours. If you want to go see the sign that signifies Sue Howard Hardy, that is across the street this way. Again, don't interrupt the other tours. They don't know what we're doing out here, and they already don't like me. So, did I say it out loud? I did. But there's a reason why I give that warning like I do at the top of the tour. Let me keep you for 1 more minute. Back in September, a year ago, this past September, I brought my group back here just like this, and the kid next to me literally goes white as a ghost. Like, I mean, I'm talking, I seen it coming. So I had to pick him up by his armpit to stop him from hitting his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side of him, and we get him over to that wall, which is where we're going to end, by the way, because you can sit down. We got him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then told him the story that I just told you about Anne Bonny. Once I spread everybody out with their devices, it's our last stop, we'll have fun, play with your devices. They pull me aside and say, "We have to tell you that we are 2 transgender males," meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary, in the story on my tour. And it made complete sense to them as to why one of them passed out the minute we entered the space.
Wow.
So, this is the weird shit that I see probably 4, 5, 6 times a year on my tours. That's why I give that warning, why if you get a headache, you start to feel a little bit dizzy, you have to speak up. It's a big deal. The first time somebody passed out on my tour, I was in CPR class the next day, and that person did not tell me that they were a psychic/medium. They didn't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site, and with the readings that Dahlia had, where she wasn't getting zeros, yeah, that would probably be something that they wouldn't be able to handle. So again, those are the reasons why I say if you have any of those symptoms, I need to know immediately so we can move. Now, you talked about burning sage earlier. It's not necessary because I have stones all over my bag to keep all of you protected. Everything is grounded. I do go through a small ritual about every 3 to 6 months based on which stones they are, and it's, you know, to keep everything obviously fresh and to make sure that we are going to be okay. When I first started doing this, I already told you I have seizures and epilepsy. You guys were bringing ghosts with you, and they were going home with me. It was not a very good, pretty sight. So my wife called all of my friends who happen to all be psychics and mediums and said, "You need to send Nick some shit because this guy is not giving up on this tour thing he's got, his ideal to." So again, there's a reason. This can be very dangerous. We did not go anywhere dangerous tonight, but psychics and mediums can't handle all of that kind of stuff that comes out of the Pinckney Mansion site. That is a very highly effective area. I also don't take people to the jail. A lot of people ask me about the jail because they used to do investigations at the jail. That is not a safe place to be taking the general public. Not in a supernatural sense in any way, shape, or the form. So again, I took you to happy spaces tonight. There was a little bit of darkness. There was a little bit of death. Of course, it's dead people, right? But hopefully you guys learned a few things on how ghost hunting is about patience, laughing a little bit, and having a good time with it, learning. That's the whole point. So go learn, have some fun. I'm going to go smoke by the wall because you guys all know what the hell you're doing by now. Come see me in about 5 to 7 minutes. Let me know what you guys got going on, and we'll determine if it's a hit or a miss tonight. It's usually how this
got
goes.
up to 29.3.
29.3?
Finally.
Yeah.
So, oh, by the way, the only red reading I've ever gotten out of that device has been here. Ask Aunt Bonnie what her hair color is, and she'll show you. The only way to get a red out of that, hold still, she has to touch it. I will tell you, last Thursday or Friday, I can't remember exactly which day, we got it 10 times, and we moved around the lot. Notice it's been quiet this whole time. So again, for us to move around the lot and continue to get the same answers, 10 times we found it. That was a holy shit moment for me. The first time I ever did it was I was asking a spirit box, like what Victoria has, like, hey Ann, just give us something simple. Tell us your hair color. And I already knew it was red, so I knew she was waiting for red. But the answer came up there. So I was like, maybe it was a fluke. We moved to a different area, got the same answer again. And that was a few months ago. So again, that's the first time. So have some fun with that one. I don't expect numbers here, but I'm definitely gonna write down that 29.1. Like, that's craziness.
I feel like they want some tobacco.
Why do you say that?
Because it came up right after you said
you're going to go smoke.
Oh, I'm gonna vape. I take that back. I smoked my tobacco at my garage before I met with you guys. I always smoke a pipe, like a pipe tobacco, before I go on tour. Just because I never know what group I'm getting, and I don't know if I can vape in between spaces like what I did with you guys, and you probably thought you saw a mist, but it was really me smoking.
No.
We smelled it.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah, I
appreciate
always
you
have a
changing your
tobacco
coil. It smelled really good.
I always smoke a tobacco pipe. Like I had black cherry tonight, so I always smoke a pipe before I meet with you guys. It's just my thing.
Okay,
But anyway.
so forgive me. What was her name again?
Ann Bonnie.
Ann Bonnie. And what are we supposed to... Because last time you told me to ask some questions, I forgot them all.
You have two things. Ask what her parents' names are, and what was the name of Calico Jack's ship. So the ship,
Jack Ship.
Did you
And
say
Mom and Dad.
George?
No, the judge.
Judge.
oh, the judge
Judge.
too.
Ship. Who were her
The
parents?
judge is a new one, so I forgot that one.
Okay.
Like, I actually left that out accidentally tonight. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to leave it out, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So, the judge is very interesting,
I
too.
do want to check
Do you
out
have
the
anything
side
coming
of
up on
the
your word list?
thing, because we've seen the front of it like 5 times.
Yeah, we've never
But
been
we've
to
never
this side.
been to the side.
Okay. Like, I don't know. Can I flip this camera around? I don't think I can I?
Yeah, very big. Anything coming up on yours?
Is that what that is?
The camera somehow.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Where's our eye again?
So, I almost feel like, am I recording? I am. Like if we hear words, I need to put them in my phone so we don't forget, right?
Yeah. I heard ship.
You did?
Did you not
I
hear
did
it?
not hear it.
What was the name of the ship? The pirate ship. What was the name?
Is this Anne? Is this Anne? Anne Bonnie? Anne, if you're here, it's a pleasure to meet you.
I heard smoke.
Circle?
What was your parents' names? Could you give us the parents' names?
Anne, if you're here, do you want to talk to us?
That's a yes/no question.
Am I not supposed to ask yes, no?
Never.
Never. Okay. I don't know what to film right here because he's the only person I can put in the shot.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost like turn around and just as everybody's kind of walking around, because we have had weird things happen with the camera, like
Okay.
operationally
Okay.
with the camera.
Tell me more about the ship.
And if you're here, it's super cool to meet you. I've read lots of stories about you.
So this was pretty familiar to you?
Yeah.
What color is your hair?
Oh, what was that?
That was just weird.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, now look at that.
What was the mistress's name?
It was her mother. I wouldn't call her a mistress.
Oh.
Dear Lord, Rob. And Rob forgets what he's supposed to ask. Please don't get mad. We mean to be respectful.
Give us a sign that you're here with us. Can you make a cold spot on the camera?
Senorita? Did you
Yeah.
hear that?
It was very sensual too.
Yeah.
Would a woman be a senorita in Cuba?
Yes.
Would you prefer that we called you a senorita? All right, let's walk towards the ticket booth. What was the name of the boat? Your husband's boat.
And I heard that you had more than one husband. Who were your husbands? You're diplomatic?
Diplomatic. Was he a... Oh, I'm not. That's a yes, no.
Okay.
What was his name?
Who was your diplomatic husband?
I have to follow up with you guys every couple of minutes.
Okay.
So what do you got? Oh, you got smart about it. So ship. Is that supposed to be senorita?
Yes.
You know, we have 3 Spanish ladies with us tonight, right?
Oh,
I'm
are
also
you?
Latino.
Oh,
Oh.
And we asked about her
that's
husband.
why I got so excited at the beginning. I had a whole lot of senoritas.
I was like, can you tell us anything about your husbands? And she said diplomatic.
I'm sure. Well, James would have been, yeah. Wow.
Can you tell us anything else about James?
What's that second one? Ship circle. I don't know what the circle is, but I'm not.
I would really like to know the name of the pirate ship.
I can hear you trying. What's special?
Was the pirate ship special to you in its name?
No.
What
Together?
letter?
It's vague, but we have Ann and Mary together. And often we'll hear the song like Girls Just Want to Have Fun. One specific night, I'll never forget this one. It actually had 2 female DJs talking and laughing, and they said they think we're guys.
Oh my.
Like, clear as a bell.
We kept getting a Spanish channel for a minute until we got Senorita, and then she moved on.
Wow.
Where is your baby? I wish you were here.
That's weird. Is your baby with you?
That's a yes, no.
Oh, shoot. Golly.
I'll catch them all night long. What do you got now?
Let me turn this way. Yeah. And I'm a mother too.
I like the J's, but none of it has
Did that say mother?
I'm not sure. Sounded like it.
Mother.
I'm a mother too. I have a son. Did you have a son or a daughter?
Leaving. Let's move. I'll follow you wherever you want to
Go
go.
that way, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's go this way.
Failure. I had failure.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound like a DJ voice.
Failure.
Why? What was failure?
And was there something that you felt like she was very sick? She was very sick?
Where was she when she was sick?
Housewife? Housewife.
Whose housewife
Let me
was
turn
it?
this way so I can see. Anne, were you a housewife? I heard you were a pirate. Were you also a housewife?
With four. Yeah, because she lived till she was 80. How old were you when you passed?
Bonnie?
Bonnie.
Bonnie?
We enjoyed speaking with you.
Anne, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Is there anything that you would like to say before we turn this off?
We're getting ready to leave. Do you want to tell us anything else? Did you hear Bonnie again?
Yeah. I thought I heard shot too. Okay, this is your last
Okay.
chance. Any last words?
Yeah,